Welcome back to the Xuan character reviews. This is the KOF generation, and with it comes the relaunch of one of the original characters. And you guessed, it's Shanwoo. If you recall, I praised Shanwoo in every possible aspect, but I admitted that the gameplay, that was a little lacking, could be improved. We wait so long for the promised new revision of the character to hit the game, so let's start by making a little history. There have been three different versions of Shanwoo. The first one, that I will refer to as Original Shanwoo, came with the launch of the game and had a couple exclusive moves, including a sort of Gatling attack from the Ikari Warriors and a super punch that reminded me much of Yashiro. The second one was the long-standing version until last month, so I'm gonna refer it to as Classic Shanwoo. This was very similar to the original. He kept the same attire, but was added among other things some, let's say, budget moves. But he kept the same concept of the original Shanwoo, that's having a balanced mix between wrestling and boxing moves. And now let's start with the new version, that I called Neo Shanwoo. For this one, they really wanted to promote that they had come with the new, ultimate version of Shanwoo. So this has quite a few new things comparing to the previous versions. They not only changed his moves, but also the costume of the character, redrawn the sprite almost completely, making him look too different, and included new poses, animations, and voice re-recorded in his dialogues.
要伤害我的兄弟们，先从我的尸体上踏过去。
The result is... Let's go part by part. I won't say much about this character's background and personality since I've talked much about this in his previous video, so let's focus on the new clothes. As I said, the original design of Shanwoo was pretty much perfect in simplicity and concept, as it represented well what the original character was about. I don't know how much justified this new costume is because, okay, they wanted to highlight the fact that this is a new Shanwoo, but honestly, this attire is very bad compared to the original. While the original costume perfectly reflected every single detail of Shanwoo's personality and backstory, this one has nothing to do with. In fact, I have to inform you that they even tweaked a little Shanwoo's backstory with this update. Now, he is not an underground boxer, or at least it is not mentioned. His job is simply described as being an employee of the Funk family. It is not stated that he founded those factories to help the children. He only some way gets to be worried about some taxes thing and decides to enter the tournament to get the money. So they practically wiped out every heroism of the character and turned him into a trucker or a box fighter or something. Well, as I said previously, they're probably planning to make the game more into the Three Fighters team roster, and it was said Jan, Shanwoo, and Kaoru are a team, so maybe they changed this to create a closer relationship between Shanwoo and Jan's family. Whatever, the new costume was changed from a convincing underground boxer wrestler thing into the one of a truck driver or something like that. It reminds me more of a biker or a generic Final Fight gang member actually. The most important part of this is, of course, the denim jacket. As I said, it's a very dated and boring biker outfit, somewhat similar to other characters, mainly gang thugs or natives just like Shanwoo is, so it only helped to make him more generic and less unique. The gloves that were pretty nice originally were changed into ones more boring, and even his unique signature watch was removed. Some useless elements were added here and there, including a band around the arm that does nothing to help the design out. The original outfit had a couple designs that tied in well with his previous tribal background, the best example being the skull on his shirt, which was completely removed here. The tattoos that were a good nod to his race now are being taken out of context and thus made irrelevant and even generic. I mean, a guy who looks like a thug or a biker with tattoos on his arms? That's like not unique at all. The contrast between his white shirt and his tan skin is also virtually eliminated because of the jacket, so the racial proud undertone on his design is even more diminished. The jacket itself is badly designed. Instead of the tribal skull symbol, we got this ridiculous cartoony pin on his jacket, along with other biker elements like a skull with wings and the goddamn USA flag. Simply, what a stupid way to ruin a design. The worst thing is this belt that hangs from his jacket. Extra belts are a basic Jade Studios flaw, but in this case it's a great design Cooper, because his belt already had an extra belt hanging, and they cross each other, completely messing the balance of the design. So the original harmony of Shanwoo's design is pulverized by these arbitrary design tweaks. The new costume is a complete screw-up, as it is unnecessarily overcharged, and while being seemingly a minor tweak, everything added sums up to completely undo what made the original design of Shanwoo pleasing and balanced. It's just like we took Balrog's design and added him a pair of MC Hammer pants over his shorts. A quick but simple way of ruining something already perfect in its simplicity. At first, I had the hopes they wouldn't change his main costume into this, because at least this biker thing could be used as an alternative outfit. But no, they changed default Shanwoo into this. I had the hopes at least they would add his original outfit as an alternative to buy in the store, but no, nothing of this. Although I secretly still have that hope, I guess I got to get over that Shanwoo's original costume is simply not going to return. So let's go with the gameplay. At least we can say Shanwoo's gameplay changed mainly for the best. He has new moves, new supers, and new properties. But the fact is that Neo Shanwoo discarded almost completely the boxer aspect of this character. The two original versions of Shanwoo were equal parts of a boxer and a wrestler. They had a couple different moves, but both of them agreed that that was the concept. But this new one throws all that away and it's almost completely a grappler. You know, to classify a character as a grappler, I use this rule. The character has to have at least two command throw specials. And the character has to have at least one command throw super. Most of the grappling characters observe this. And while the old Shanwoo had two grabs, he had no grab super and he had a generous share of boxing attacks, even aerial attacks. But this one has 3 command throws and 1 or 2 super throws. And not only that, but they said goodbye to the boxing moves and goodbye to the aerial moves. The only non-grappling extra move they added to him is this ground pound strike, which is recycled from old animations. And it is a launcher. Let's get nitpicky, and I've always had a problem with this kind of strikes. Please someone explain me, if Shanwoo's smashing the opponent down, how the hell does that launches it up in the air? Unless the floor is made of elastic rubber, that makes no sense. I have the exact same problem with Brazil's descending kick. And with Tekken as a whole, it just doesn't obey laws of physics. Unless Shanwoo is actually smashing the ground under the opponent, making it pop up and this calls the opponent upwards, wherever. And no, this can't be classified as a boxing move because it is just a brutal wild strike. The same thing I think of his flurry of punches super. I got to admit, Shanwoo's new style is not bad at all. I mean, it's really effective, more than the previous ones. His new throws are extremely fast and dangerous. Now his command roll reaches longer and it is faster, and you can cancel it out with any command throw. They tweaked some of his commands to allow some stylish and cool stuff. And his new super is like super fast, and it has a couple seconds of a very useful armor. His secret super is kind of weird but also interesting and makes up adding some cool variety to his gameplay. All of this made Shanwoo go up in the tier list, and that's pretty good at least. But still, the change of both the outfit and the gameplay made him less unique and more generic. And that's pretty sad. Even his elbow slam that Shanwoo could use anytime in the original version is no longer a standalone move, and it is only able to be used after a command throw, just like Clark from KOF, so he is more of a clone now.